Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday celebration of the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Carol Cross. I'm one of the licensed practitioners at the TCSL, and it is my honor to set off today's service with a meditation. So I love holidays. So this weekend is fantastic for me because I got to celebrate Juneteenth, Father's Day, and summer solstice all in a row. So I came home yesterday after I'd gone to the farmer's market to buy all this great stuff that I was going to make all these special meals with. And my pandemic pod household consists of myself, my son, my husband, and 4 cats. One of the cats is named Opal, and she is our neurotic cat. She's scared of everything and everyone, including us. And every morning, she has to start the day. She gets up on this counter, and she gets up on her hind legs and puts her paws on my shoulder, and I lift her up, and so we're sort of like heart to heart, and I walk around with her for a minute and then put her down, and that settles her down for the day. But yesterday, and after I came back from the farmer's market, she was squawking. She doesn't sound like a cat. She's squawking. And so I do our little thing where I take her around for a minute, put her down. She's still squawking. I try giving her food. I try giving her drink. I try giving her toys. I don't know what it is. But I got to be making my Juneteenth special barbecue sauce. So I get to cooking, and she's squawking still. And my son comes down to get a drink, and he's like, "What's up with Opal?" I said, I don't know what her problem is. And he says, "Well, she wants attention." I said, "Well, I already gave her attention." And he said, "Well, apparently you didn't give her enough." And then he left. But I'm cooking. And then it hits me. I'm like, what am I doing? I've got someone crying out for me, and I'm too focused on my stuff to pay attention. So I took it off the stove, I went over, she put her paws on me, I picked her up, and I went and just sat with her. And she purred for maybe 30 minutes, and then she just was silent. She was still and silent, and I was still and silent. But what came to me in that silent time was that, the cats have been used to me being around all the time. But as things have been reopening, I've been out more. I've been catching up on overdue medical visits and handling financial stuff and, some fun stuff. Like I went to the movie theater for the first time since February 2020. But I thought, wow, maybe me being gone so much is making her anxious. So we just sat there, and after about 15 minutes, she'd had enough, and she initiated getting down, and she went on with her cat business, and I went on with cooking my stuff. But it was, a moment of clarity for me. So that's kind of the backdrop to this morning's meditation. So I invite you to close your outer eyes and take a couple of deep breaths to get really grounded into your body. And I invite you to open to some divine insight around a couple of questions that, change can be difficult, even when it's change that we want. So who or what in your life may be needing some extra fathering, mothering energy during this time of transition? And also, what aspect or part of yourself might be finding some challenges in this transition and may need some extra fathering, mothering energy, whether from yourself or others. So Mark is going to play us some beautiful music, and we can take that thought into contemplation and meditation for a few minutes. I invite you to come back into your body from wherever your thoughts may have transported you, but keep your eyes closed as I say a short blessing for us all around this. Because what I know is that we are not the recipients of divine wisdom. We are the source of divine wisdom. When we take the time to get quiet and look within instead of looking without. So during this time of navigating to a new way of being, may we be gentle and compassionate and watchful for those who are finding some difficulty, whether it's us or others. May we recognize and be grateful for the things that were good about sheltering at home. And may we keep those. Let's not abandon the things that were positive about this strange time of the past 15 months. And as we return to a more interactive society, more like things were, let us be mindful about not just throwing ourselves back into everything, but picking and choosing, knowing we have the power to not return to habits or activities or thoughts or situations that we know no longer really serve us. So I'm so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful for this time together. I'm so grateful for the power of prayer. And I just release these intentions and everyone's individual intentions that may have come up during the meditation into the law that always says yes, and ask you to affirm this for yourself and for each other with our words, and so it is. So it is. So we will see everybody back here at 10:45 for our special Father's Day service. See you then. Thanks for being here.
us grow a church of heart and mind. In this moment and in this space, in your presence and with your grace, we ask for nothing but for your will to flow through us and be fulfilled, while the walls of fear that may have held us yesterday dissolve to dust upon the ground and simply fade away. And the power and strength inherently that flows within moves us forward now as we begin to grow a church of love and understanding, as we grow a church of peace, as we build a foundation large enough to embrace all in kind. Let us grow a church of heart and mind. Let us grow a church of heart and mind.
Thank you so very much, Cindy Johnson, for your beautiful voice, and Margaret Owens for writing such an amazing song. And I absolutely love to hear it and to see all of the images of our beautiful, beautiful community. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Ripplemeyer, and I have the honor and the privilege of being the senior minister of this amazing community. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. We embrace new thought and ancient wisdom teachings, and through them, we believe in a practical spirituality that we can use to create a life that we absolutely love to live. We are a powerful spiritual community, lovingly committed to a world of acceptance, compassion, peace, and joy. We gather together to express love, celebrate life, grow spiritually, practice radical acceptance and inclusion, and to connect with one another. What we are really about is providing a supportive community where we can explore our own spiritual path and connect to the divinity and wisdom within us. We welcome all of you that have been attending our services, our classes, and our spiritual and our special events over the years. And we welcome all of you who are visiting for the very first time. We see all of you. We know who you really are. We appreciate you and we celebrate you. We are grateful that you have chosen to include us in your morning. As Carol Cross said in her introduction to today's meditation, this is a weekend, the whole entire weekend of celebration. Today we celebrate fathers. So thank you to all of the fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, single mothers, and lesbian couples who lovingly tap into their inner masculine energy, and all of the uncles and family friends who step up in challenging times. We are grateful to all that you are and all that you bring to our lives and to the world. Please enjoy this video with our love.
Ever notice in the moment your balloon came back why you like to work with your hands, or why your friends always came and played at your house. Ever wonder how vacations are made? Why the night monsters never came back? Or why you and the princess always had the same name? Ever appreciate how happy your dad could be when he walked into the house? How goofiness can ease the tension. Or the non-stop battle he fights between supporting his family and supporting his family. Because this Father's Day, if you really look around, you just might. You might appreciate where some of your passions came from. Might wonder on the dreams of those before. And might notice that being the bad guy is sometimes a very hard job. Even discover the ultimate pride in his eyes when you've learned for yourself.
Not always an easy job, but a very important job. Thank you so very much. We love you. Happy Father's Day. Yesterday, we celebrated Juneteenth, a celebration of the day the people of Galveston, Texas, learned that 250,000 enslaved African Americans had been freed. It was June 19th, 1865, 2 months after the Civil War had ended, and 2.5 years after President Lincoln had freed them in his Emancipation Proclamation. Black Texans marked the day with parades and picnics and music and just celebration. The gatherings grew through the aborted promise of the Reconstruction, through racial terror and Jim Crow, and through the Great Depression, which with a major revival in the 1980s and the 1990s. Last summer, amid the racial justice protests following the murder of George Floyd, millions of white Americans became aware of Juneteenth for the very first time. This week, just this week, Juneteenth became the first new federal holiday created by Congress since 1983. While progress has been made, the road ahead is still long. I believe that it is important that we all become as informed as possible and begin to individually and collectively not only talk the talk, but walk the walk, knowing that none of us are truly free until all of us are truly and fully free. Please take a look at this video.
My name is Marcia Chatlin. I'm a professor of history and African American studies at Georgetown University. I'm a historian of African American life and culture. Juneteenth is a commemoration holiday of June 19, 1865, when a group of African Americans in Galveston, Texas, received the news that they indeed were free. President Lincoln had signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, but news of the end of slavery in Texas had not traveled to this community until 1865. Since then, Juneteenth has been a day of commemoration of the struggle against slavery and a celebration of freedom. One of the biggest misconceptions most about Juneteenth is that people often think that was the day that slavery ended in the United States. But in fact, the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery in the United States, was passed in the Senate on April 8th, 1864, and the House on January 31st, 1865. Although Juneteenth celebrates the knowledge that slavery had ended, it's important to remember that the conditions that mirrored slavery, whether it was Jim Crow or the suppression of civil rights or continued struggles to fight racism, those continued long after the end of slavery. And so the Juneteenth holiday reminds us of where we've come, and it also inspires us to think about the places we want to go. As African Americans left the South to pursue opportunities throughout the 20th century in northern and western cities, the celebration of Juneteenth moved from being a Texas-based celebration to a national one, in which people gathered with families and friends and community to remember the incredible struggle of a people against slavery and to create new traditions that allowed them to reflect about the struggle for civil rights and the ongoing struggle against racism. Although slavery was abolished in 1865, the fight for civil rights has continued to the present day. So Juneteenth provides people with a sense of encouragement and inspiration to continue to fight on behalf of their community and their families for freedom. And it also is a holiday that, as it continues to become more and more popular, it allows people to look back at the past and encourages them to learn more about African American history. As more and more institutions recognize Juneteenth and work to commemorate the incredible legacy of slavery in the United States, I hope Juneteenth becomes a day where people commit not only to acts of justice in their local community, but to investigate history in a more deep and thoughtful way.
Juneteenth, a great reminder of where we have come from and a call to dedicate ourselves to where we are going, to a world that works for everyone. Please join me in welcoming, in thanking Carol Cross for her beautiful meditation this morning, setting the stage for our service to unfold within. Thank you so very much, Carol. And now please join me in welcoming another one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, Dr. Mike Morczynski. Welcome, Dr. Mike. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Dusty. Our theme for the month of June is The Soul's Call. And our talk title for today is What's Evolution Without Love? Holding vigil for us today, which means staying in a meditative space throughout the service, holding the space for us to have a transformative experience, is one of our licensed spiritual practitioners, Carol Cross. Thank you for your consciousness, Carol. I'm now going to read this community's purpose statement, and it's our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed not to merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. So with the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. And so it is. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and the threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths as represented by this ceremony. So in this moment, please help me welcome Ed and Edward Krupa, who will be assisting with this service. How you doing, Ed and Edward?
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Nice to see you. Christianity is the path of Christ's consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the path of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exception. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you, Ed and Edward.
Thank you.
I now invite you to join Cindy Johnson as she sings our opening congregational song.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. And I know the voice of love. It is singing through my life. It is all I am, every part of me. It is all that I choose to be. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets me free. There is only love.
Thank you, Carol. Again, thank you, Carol. So close your outer eyes for a moment as I speak an invocation on this service today, knowing that even as it just begins, that it is perfect, whole, and complete. I speak a blessing on Reverend Dusty Ripplemeyer, the spiritual leader of this community. I speak a blessing on Reverend Andy Ross, our guest speaker today. I speak a blessing on Michael Fawcett, the talented musician who will entertain us today. I speak a blessing on the volunteers, those you see on screen and those behind the screen making what you see possible. I speak a blessing on the congregation, knowing that they are instrumental in the evolution and evolvement of this service, knowing that their role is instrumental and critical in its conclusion. So I know that all of these ingredients are perfect as the participants. Everyone is in their perfect place. Everyone is contributing and learning wisdom by being involved in this service today. And so it is. Today's reading is by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, and he says, "Above all, trust in the slow work of God. We are quite naturally impatient in everything to reach the end without delay. We are impatient of having the way to something, being the way, on the way to something, unknown, something new. And yet it is the law of all progress that it is made by passing through, and that it may take a very long time. And so I think it is with you. Your ideas mature gradually. Let them grow. Let them shape themselves without undue haste. Don't try to force them on as though you could be today what time, that is to say, grace and circumstances acting on your own will make of you tomorrow. Only God could say what this new spirit gradually forming within you will be. Give our Lord the benefit of believing that his hand is leading you, and accept the anxiety of feeling yourself in suspense and incomplete." And so it is. And now I would like to introduce the talented Michael Fawcett, musician and songwriter.
Good morning. This is an original song called Silence. On the trail, self-discovery, you will find yourself remembering who you really are and who you choose to be. You will someday see that you are me. If you listen there in the silence, you will become aware of your guidance. Know she's always with you. So we have chosen to forget, only to remember
are connected to everything. We are separate from nothing. If you listen there in the silence, we'll become aware of your guidance. Know He's always with you. If you listen there in the silence, we'll become aware of your guidance. Know she's always with you. Know she's always with you. Know she's always with you.
Beautiful as always, Michael. Thank you so very much. The perfect lyrics to fitting the reading, and I'm absolutely sure fitting the message that Reverend Andy will give today. Speaking of Reverend Andy, for those of you who have been watching our services over the years, this angel, this wonderful man, this awesome father, this great speaker, is well known by our community, for he has often graced our services, blessing us with his consciousness, his wisdom, and his humor, and crazy antics, I might add. Please join me in welcoming our beloved Reverend Andy Ross.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dusty. This is one of my favorite things to do, which is to consider an idea throughout the week, consider what wisdom has to share, consider how I may discern some type of truth, and to share it with you or to share it with anyone who will listen. But that's not the main reason I love being here with you. One of the main reasons, or the main reason I just love being here, is that being in the presence of you, Reverend Dusty, and of this community makes me feel loved. It makes me feel honored. It makes me feel lifted up. You said, Angel, you make me feel like I have wings, and that doing this, I couldn't possibly fail. So thank you so much again for inviting me back. There are no words to describe the feeling I have being with you. This weekend, I'd like to say to all of those chasing freedom, to all of those pursuing freedom, remember, it is not something you have to earn. It is something you are owed. It is something that's inherent to the life blood of creation. So to all of those seeking it out, may we help you and may you help us. And to the fathers, thank you. Fathers come in many shades, sizes, genders, types. Fathers, grandfathers, uncles, godfathers. I almost want to say godfathers. Aunts, mothers, like Dusty said, masculine energy and fatherly energy shows itself in so many ways. So to all of you, thank you. And to Pop, check your fluids. So as I like to do at the beginning of a lot of my talks, is I like to share a little bit about myself for a couple of reasons. One, my life is all I have. My experience of life is all I have. So it's what I have to work with. And two, I feel like you should know where this is coming from. You should always check your sources. That's what my father always told me. You should always check your sources. You should know who is writing this. What perspective is this coming from? So I'd like to walk you through a typical day of mine. Now, I know all days are different, but I do have a routine throughout the week. And I find that I thrive on routine. The more I engage in rituals of life, the more I engage in repetition, the happier and more peaceful I am. So I'd like to take you through a typical day of mine. So the alarm goes off around 5 a.m. Yes, that's very early. And I move my feet over and my feet touch the floor. And the first thing I do is I put my finger up like this. And this has become a mantra of mine, or I guess technically it's a mudra, which is a hand mantra. And it means one moment at a time, one day at a time. And this especially is important on Mondays. So my feet hit the floor, one moment at a time. I can do this. And then I feel my cat. I feel my cat move by my feet and say good morning in her beautiful cat-like way. Yes, Carol, we love cats. Then I take a shower, go downstairs. I eat right away. I know some people like to wait till later in the morning to eat, but I eat right away. I make a cup of coffee, and if it's a good morning, meaning if I am kind of in the mood to do things that are beneficial to my life, I will write a little bit. I like to write theology, so I will write for about 20 minutes with my coffee and theology, my favorite environment to exist in. Then I'll go outside and do some Tai Chi, and I'll get dressed and head off to work. Now, my work day is at the hospital. I'm a chaplain resident right now at the hospital here in Raleigh. So my day is spent doing chaplain education, talking to patients, talking to families, responding to crises in the hospital. So that's just reacting to the ebb and flow of the hospital, being pulled in different directions. Then about 4:30 or 5, I come home, I take another shower quickly. Don't want to waste too much water, but I have to wash the hospital off of me. We make dinner. My family and I, we eat together. I'd like to tell you it's always cordial and peaceful, but it is not. There's usually some arguing and some yelling, but we're together, and that's what's important. And after dinner, we clean up the kitchen, go for a walk, and the night kind of winds down. My daughter Macy is really in Star Wars right now, so we might watch a Star Wars show, which is like awesome. Then by 9:30, man, I am falling asleep. So I'd like to spend a little time with my wife on the couch, but by then I'm just nodding off. So that is a day of mine. That is a very typical, very normal day for me. Now think about your days. Think about your typical normal day. Now, I don't know if you have a routine. I don't know where you are in your life, but chances are you do a lot of the same things I do, meaning that you feed yourself, you take in information, you take in your surroundings, you interact with people, some more than others. Some work from home, especially nowadays. So maybe their interactions are on the computer, but their interactions nonetheless. You act, which means you do things, you work on things, you create things, you rest. So this is a day. And the reason I wanted to take you through my day and the reason I want you to think about your day is because this is life. It may seem very mundane. Your life may seem just normal, and these are just the little things I do, and it's not huge. It's just my small town, and it's just my home, and it's just my job and my family. But no, your life is life. From the beginning of evolution, what they call a big bang, life has been changing and expanding and interacting and becoming new things in every moment. And the mechanism of that evolution is interaction. At every moment, there are forms relating to one another. There are forms in my body. There are molecules and atoms, and I'm not a scientist, so I probably can't say much more about it, but in my body, there's this constant interaction that's changing my physiology, that's changing the way I am. There is interaction. Right now it's raining outside of my window, so the rain is interacting with the plants and the trees, and if the sun comes out, they will engage in photosynthesis, and the sunlight will become energy. Life is interaction. And every moment of every day, you are interacting with something. You are coming into contact with some new experience. And every single interaction changes everything. Every time you eat, every time you speak, every time you think, every thought, every time you say hello to your neighbor, every time you wave in traffic, whether it's with all the fingers or just one of the fingers, every time you yell at someone, every time you get angry, every time you contribute to work, every time you pull out into traffic, you are changing the fabric of creation. There's a wonderful mythological image. Now, I'm a huge fan of mythology. I'm a huge fan of religion. Some folks have their greatest hits. These are my top 5 bands of all time, or these are my top 5 foods, if food is your thing, or these are my top 5 places to visit in the world. For me, it's mythology and religion. So this mythological image I'd like to share with you is probably on my top 5. And I think you've probably heard it time and time again, if you've heard me speak at all. So this mythological image is called Indra's net, or Indra's web. And Indra is the king of the gods in the Hindu traditions. And Indra spins a web of creation. And that web is comprised of interactions. That web is comprised of I don't know what that's called, crossings. And at every crossing, at every interaction, there is a jewel. And that jewel represents a life form. It represents you. It represents this tree. It represents this squirrel. And within every jewel is reflected every other jewel in creation. So when one jewel changes, they all do. When you change, creation changes. When you change, life changes. It's a ripple effect. It's like throwing pebbles into a pond, and those ripples go out eternally. So think about how important your interactions are. Think about how important your actions are. The way you think, the way you speak, the way you talk to other people, the work you do, it all changes everything. Now, somewhere in our evolution, somewhere in the evolution of humankind, we stumbled upon something. We as a species, we as a collective, we stumbled upon an idea that helped us to see change, an idea that helped us to see the possibility of these interactions, the possibility of these ripples, a way to look back at where the ripples are coming from, and a way to look forward at where the ripples are going. I don't know when we stumbled upon this, and I don't know how long it took to become a part of our human view of life, but that concept, that worldview is called time. We came up with a way of viewing life on a timeline. Now, it's become so ingrained into the way we see the world that most of us just accept that it's a part of the fabric of creation, that time is just this thing that exists. But actually, it's not. Time exists right here. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. Tomorrow happened. Tomorrow exists, or tomorrow will happen. Yesterday happened. Yesterday existed. I know it does. I know yesterday was there. But where is yesterday? Tell me, where is yesterday? And then if we're having a conversation, you'll say, well, I remember getting up in the morning, and I remember doing these things and interacting with these people. And I say, oh, okay, so you remember yesterday. So yesterday exists in your mind. It's a memory. Well, I can anticipate tomorrow. I know I'm going to work. If I don't go to work, I might not have a job. Well, it exists in your mind. Yesterday is a memory. Tomorrow is a thought. So time actually doesn't exist. It's a way that we as human beings have figured out how to measure change. We learn through memory, and we grow through anticipation. So we collect memories, and we collect memories not just as people, but we collect memories as a culture. We pass down memories, we pass down ideas and thoughts, and we learn and we grow and we make plans for the future. So time tells us that it's extremely important to pay attention. It's extremely important to pay attention to everything we're experiencing, everything we remember, everything we're being passed down through our ancestors, everything we read in the newspaper, every article we read, every poem we read, every movie we watch. It's very important to pay attention to what we are going through and to what we've been through, this storehouse of memory that we call culture. Because the more we embrace what we've been through, the more we can anticipate and make changes and continue to progress and to change. This is what the view of time is all about. It's all about measuring change. It's all about saying, this is where I've been. I know because it's here. And this is where I'd like to go. I know because it's here. I can make choices today that will change the fabric of creation. And I want to change it in a way that's beneficial to all of us. Time is a very, very, very important concept. But time has its limitations. See, we learn and we grow and we make progress, we change, and hopefully we are continuing to better ourselves and we are continuing to better our society and we're continuing to pass down knowledge to our children and to our children's children. But we get lost when we think that somewhere in the future there's going to be peace. We get lost when we think that somewhere in the future there's going to be fulfillment. Or we get lost when we think that somewhere in the past there was this perfect moment, that somewhere in the past there was peace. You see, because time is just the way we measure change, it doesn't exist beyond the mind. And peace is not something you are going to get to. And fulfillment is not something you are going to get to. No matter how much you've learned through history, no matter how much you've learned through experience, no matter how much you've learned through this storehouse of memory, no matter how much you grow, peace is not something we can get to. Because as life changes, it changes around something. You see, what I've just described to you over these last minutes is I've described to you the mechanism for evolution, the mechanism for change, the mechanism for creation, which is interaction, which is forms interacting with each other, and every interaction creates a change and creates a new creation, and these ripples effect go on and on and on. But I haven't described to you the why. Why does all this exist? Why are there these interactions? Why are there these atoms and molecules? What's the point of all this? Where is this going if there's no tomorrow? Where is this coming from if there's no yesterday? What else is going on? Well, when I wake up in the morning and I put my feet on the floor, God wakes up and God puts its feet on the floor. And when the cat comes by my leg and purrs, God is coming by my leg. And when I shower off, God is experiencing the wonder of water and the wonder of food and the wonder of interaction and the wonder of speaking and thinking. Every moment, every interaction, every thought, every word, every deed, every cross of Indra's net is an aha moment for the one who created it. The reason this all exists is so that God can experience itself as life, so that God can experience itself as you. And for God, every moment is joyous. And for God, every moment fulfills its one desire to know itself. That spoonful of oatmeal, I eat oatmeal in the morning. That spoonful of oatmeal, that taste on my lips is oh, I get to taste. And when I get angry with my children, yes, Dusty, I'm a great father, I assume. But when I get angry with my children, which I do, God is joyous to experience this human emotion called anger. And God is joyous to move through the hospital. And God is joyous to sit with someone who is dying. And yes, God is joyous to be the one dying. We're learning so much from life. We're learning so much from every interaction, and we're growing and we're changing. And we remember where we've been. Even though there's nothing this way, we remember it's stored here, the past. And we think we'd like to know where we're going because it's stored here in the mind, the future. But peace, fulfillment, joy, these things are right here, right now. And with every interaction, you are an expression of God's joyous decision to create life. So here's what I would like for you to do. I would like for you, if you don't mind, to pay attention, to learn and to grow, to take every interaction seriously, because everything you do changes all of this. It changes all of reality. There's no deed that's too small. In fact, every single deed is equal in its effect, whether it's just one thought, or whether it's feeding the hungry, or whether it's creating a spiritual community, or doing a talk, or fathering a child. Every deed is equal in its effect on reality. So yes, pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to what comes back at you when you give something. How does this food make me feel? How do these interactions make me feel? How did this comment affect this person? What am I learning? Because that's how we grow, and that's the human condition. And time is important to this. It's important to accept what you remember and to anticipate where you're going. So yes, do me a favor and pay attention to everything you do and to what happens around you. You're a human being. It comes natural as long as you pay attention. But I also would like for you to pay attention to what's happening underneath it all. Pay attention to the experience of being alive. Pay attention to the experience of speaking with someone, the experience of creating something, the experience of walking barefooted in the grass, the experience of hearing the rain, the experience of hearing the echo of your voice fill a room, the experience of being fathered or fathering, the experience of frustration, anger, shame, and guilt, the experience of happiness. Because that is the blood of creation. That is the reason this all exists. We get glimpses of it. We get glimpses of it all the time. And we usually call those glimpses love. Love is a recognition from God to God, or from God to God. Those moments where God says, I'm doing this. Michael, somewhere in your song, you said we have practice forgetting. Are we something forgetting? I forgot what you said, but it was great. Whatever you said was great. Whatever you sung was great. Thank you for that. But there's this philosopher named Ken Wilber who said that God, in order to create, God must forget itself. In order to become you and me and trees and squirrels and atoms, God must forget itself. Love is the moment God remembers. Love is the moment where God goes, oh yeah, there I am. When you fall in love with someone, when you experience love with someone, it's you going, hey, there I am. When you love music, you're going, there I am. When you love beauty, when you love nature, you're going, there I am. So take those glimpses and pay attention to them, because the more you pay attention to the experience of being alive, the more you drop down into that zone, which is peace, which is joy, which is fulfillment in every single moment. I like evolution. I do. I love the description, the storehouse of scientific memory. I love thinking about where we've come from. I love thinking about the cosmos and the Big Bang and stars exploding and spreading their star stuff around the universe. I love looking at culture and religion, the storehouse of memory. I love thinking about the future. Where will I be tomorrow? What will I do in September when I need to get a new job? Who will my daughter marry? Will she marry? What will she become? You know, what will my wife and I's life be like when we're old and gray, if we are lucky enough to make it that far? I love these things. I love time. Time is the worldview, the human worldview that I see creation through. But I have to constantly remind myself that that's not why we're here. That's not why this exists. And that's not where this is going. This all exists. Every moment of it exists for the pure, perfect reason for God to experience itself as life. And God is fulfilled in every single moment. And therefore, you can experience peace, love, and fulfillment in every single moment. Why don't we have a prayer together? I am thankful for creation. I am thankful for evolution. I am thankful for change, and I am thankful for time. I don't understand it all. It confuses me. It bewilders me. It transcends my limited conception. But oh, I am thankful for it. I'm thankful for where we've come from, although it's here. I'm thankful for where we're going, although it's here. But most of all, I'm thankful for this joyous moment, this moment where I get to experience life, this profound gift that just keeps on giving through me. And in this gratitude, I find joy, and in this gratitude, I find peace. And it is my prayer that everyone watching and everyone not watching can catch a glimpse of that in this moment. Because just a glimpse is all it takes to remind us that there's a reason for all of this. For all these things and for your time and sharing this time with me, I am grateful. And so it is. Thank you so much for listening. And Dusty, thank you for having me again.
Oh, thank you so very much, Reverend Andy. Beautiful message, as always. Thank you for your loving presence. Absolutely. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of all of your time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to this community to continue to be a beacon of light and love for ourselves and for others. Together, we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the experience of sufficiency in the world. Please place your hand on your heart with your gift or an intention for yourself or for our community, and we will say our offering affirmation. We'll do it as a call and response, and I invite Ed and Edward back to represent our community. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I give with gratitude, knowing God is my source.
I give with gratitude, knowing God is my source.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you all so very much for your gifts. Thank you, Ed and Edward, for your participation. And now please welcome back to his guitar, the amazing Michael Fawcett. Welcome, Michael.
Right. Thank you. Great talk, Andy. That lyric was, we have chosen to forget, only to remember once again. So, and this is also an original song, Let Go, Let God.
This is my life, the peace and the pain. Nothing's wrong, ain't nothing right. One thing stays the same. 'Cause there's a witness whose witness knows just who I am. Who I am. Is limitless and free. I'm the witness, witness. This is just a dream, yeah. So we enjoy this experience, yeah, I'm creating highs and lows. Everything we need is here with us to remind us of our home. We don't need to be right. We don't need to justify. We don't need to be right if we let go and let God. So let go and let God. Let go and let God. Yeah, let go and let God. We don't need to be right if we let go and let God.
Thank you so very much. Now welcome back to the podium, Dr. Mike Murczynski.
Thank you, Reverend Dusty, and thank you, Michael Fawcett. If anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living.org, and on the homepage, there's a button in the right-hand corner. Just click on it and fill out the form, and your prayer request will be given to the ministers and practitioners to pray on. And join us on Let's Stay Connected immediately following the service. It's on Zoom, and the link is in the Wednesday newsletter. We have an announcement, and that is that Michael Hemingway has released his second CD. It's called 95 Seconds of Normal. It's a collection of positive, life-affirming, spiritual, and not religious music. It's available through most digital distributors. You can use the link. It's Sandy Hemingway herenow.com/. You can get links on Apple, iTunes, Amazon, Pandora, Spotify, and Deezer. So please join us in supporting Sandy and his new CD. It is also with tremendous excitement that I share some very wonderful news. We are coming back together as a community in person on Sunday, July 11th. Through the grace of divine right action and the loving generosity of a beautiful angel, Desi Salva Nikolova, we will be meeting at our regular meditation and service times at Sophie's Grill and Bar in Cary, North Carolina. The address is 2734 NC 55, Cary, North Carolina 27519. While we are coming back to live services, we will continue to stream on both Facebook Live and YouTube. So in this moment, we will only be meeting in person on Sundays, but only in this moment. Our Wednesday service and classes will continue on Zoom. Please know that this is just the beginning of our return, and we will be adding more in-person activities and events as time goes on. There will be game nights, picnics, bingo, and other events, and we will notify you as soon as they're created. Now, the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, in the state of North Carolina are discontinuing many COVID-19 restrictions, so our community will also be loosening our restrictions. There will be no more temperature taking, no masks for those who have been vaccinated, and no distancing requirements. We will continue, however, to strongly encourage those who have not yet been vaccinated for COVID-19 to continue wearing masks while visiting. And we invite and encourage you to join us as we embark on this wonderful renewed journey. Whether you join us in person or tune into our live stream, we will see you at 10:15 for meditation and 10:45 for celebration service. On Wednesday evenings during the month of June, we have been taking a deeper dive into the Book of Soul by Mark Nepo. In honor of our theme, we are holding a special screening of the Disney Pixar movie called Soul. The movie is about a man named Joe Gardner. He's a middle school band teacher with a love for jazz. And after a successful gig at a half-note club, he suddenly gets in an accident and separates his soul from his body and is transported to the great before, the place where all souls go before being either reincarnated as newborn babies or transported to the great beyond. Joe must enlist some help from other souls in training in order to get back to the land of the living before he dies. Join us at the Lodge at Crossroads on Wednesday, June 30. The evening will begin at 7 and end by around 9:30. The address is 200 Brisbane Woods Way, Cary, North Carolina 27518. Again, that's at 200 Brisbane Woods Way, Cary, and that's at the Lodge at Crossroads. And that concludes our announcements. So, in the comfort of your own home, please stand for our June affirmation. This is the call and response. Please say it with meaning and repeat after me. Ed and Edward will join us as representing the community. I am what the world has been waiting for.
I am what the world has been waiting for.
Any challenges I have faced in my life have prepared me for this moment.
Any challenges I have faced in my life has prepared me for this moment.
I embrace the pain as an invitation to higher consciousness and deeper love.
I embrace the pain of the invitation to higher consciousness and deeper love.
I commit to showing up authentically, and I choose to live the life of my dreams.
I commit to showing up authentically and to choose to live the life of my dreams.
As I choose to live authentically, I inspire others to do the same.
As I choose to live authentically, I inspire others to do the same.
I move forward in my life with a place of love and acceptance.
I move forward in my life from a place of love and acceptance.
I consciously and confidently live my own truth.
I consciously and confidently live my own truth.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Thank you, Ed and Edward. So please close your outer eyes as I do mine. And take a second, as I do, to turn within, realizing, recognizing that there is only one life. That life is God. That life is my life, as well as it is everyone's life, every creature, every being. From this day, as Andy suggested, when our feet hit the floor, that realization, as our foot strikes the floor, the carpeting, the wood, is that God is with me. God is my life. God is living my life. God is experiencing and expressing as me. And that everything that I do during my day, I'm a sender of signals as well as I am a receiver of signals. And these sending and receiving signals are interacting with everything and everyone in the environment around me, having an effect. And I recognize this. And they are a tool for me to learn from. They are a tool for me to expand and evolve and deepen. The most important thing in my life is my connection to God, my love of God, my love for God, my faith in God. That no matter what the circumstances, turning within to that place is where peace resides, is where joy is where abundance is. All that the Father hath is mine. So from this place, I am so grateful for this community. I'm so grateful for this service today. I'm so grateful for Reverend Andy's exceptionally wonderful talk. And I ask you to join me by saying, and so it is. Thank you very much.
So it is.
And so it is.
Thank you so very, very much, everybody on the Hollywood Squares. And thank you all in virtual land for being with us today. Happy Father's Day. Enjoy your day, fathers. And enjoy your week. And we will see you next week. I love you all madly.